You know, life can throw some serious curveballs. Picture this: a 9-year-old girl backstage at a talent show called Stars of America, clutching a broken guitar, her future dangling by a thread. Sounds dramatic, right? But for Keisha, this was just another day. You see, after losing her grandmother, she found herself living on the streets. Her dreams of becoming a musician tangled with harsh reality. She often wondered if singing well would earn her a meal, just one small victory in a world that seemed to have turned its back on her. Growing up in that relentless struggle, Keisha often heard whispers about how she'd never make it, that kids like her just didn't get the breaks. And yet somewhere deep inside her, there flickered a flame, a belief that maybe, just maybe, she had a shot. So there she was, innocent yet fiercely determined, ready to step into a spotlight that felt worlds away from her life of hardship. The glitz of the talent show was glaring against her gritty reality, but she held tight to the memories of her grandmother, who always told her to stand tall in the face of adversity. This wasn't just a performance. It was her moment, a chance to prove to the world and to herself that dreams are worth chasing, no matter how broken the road may seem. And little did anyone know this little girl was about to turn the tables in a way no one could have anticipated. The moment I stepped into that audition room, I could feel the weight of their expectations pressing down on me. Richard, the producer, had already made it clear, "You're not what we're looking for, Kesha. You're just here for the entertainment value." Those words stung more than I'd like to admit, not just for their cruelty, but for the way he dismissed the dreams I carried in my heart, dreams I had fought so hard to hold on to. I watched as the other kids took the stage, their polished performances met with enthusiastic applause. But with every cheer, I felt a pit form in my stomach, a blend of anger and disbelief. Ashley, that spoiled girl, shot me a condescending smile. "Good luck, street rat. Maybe next year." I clenched my fists, fighting the urge to lash out. Instead, I remembered my grandmother's words. Strength isn't about shouting the loudest. It's about standing firm when the world tries to tear you down. Backstage, all I could hear was the hum of wires and the occasional snickers from the other contestants. Richard had a wicked plan to ensure my failure. I could sense it as he fiddled with the sound equipment, smirking as he walked past me. "Just wait till you hear the mess we have planned for you," he taunted, eyes gleaming with self-satisfaction. I felt the anger boiling just beneath the surface, radiating through my veins. Still, despite the swirl of doubts flooding my mind, I clung to my secret weapon, a letter tucked safely in my pocket. I may have looked like an underdog, but I was not without allies. With every beat of my heart, every breath deep in my chest, I prepared to show them all what I truly had inside. Disrespected, overlooked, and underestimated, it only fueled my fire. I would rise not just for myself, but for everyone who had ever been labelled unworthy. It was a disaster, a full-blown train wreck. As I stood there, crouched behind that curtain, listening to the glitzy performances firing off one after the other, I could feel the weight of their polished notes pressing down on me. I mean, here I was, a kid with a broken guitar and $1,000 dream, almost laughing at the irony of it all. Did I really think I could stand toe to toe with these talent show titans? It felt like a cosmic joke, one of those "let's see how much you can take" setups. But then again, life has a knack for squeezing every last ounce of belief right out of you, like someone's been using my confidence as a sponge just to wipe up their mess. Richard was lurking in the background, his smirk practically glowing in the dim light. I swear that dude practically doubled as a villain in one of those cheesy movies. Every time I took a breath, I could almost hear him plotting my demise, ready to sabotage me with the crappiest sound gear ever invented. But here's the kicker. I wasn't about to let that guy write my story for me. So sure, I felt the doubt creeping in like a bad horror movie I couldn't turn off. The snickering from kids like Ashley echoed in my ears. I mean, I get it, she has a ponytail that probably has its own fan club. But deep down, I could feel that tiny ember of determination sparking, refusing to go out completely. It was like my grandmother was whispering in my ear, reminding me that I was meant for more than just their cheap laughs. I was going to show them what real music sounded like. And yeah, maybe my hands were shaking, but isn't that what makes us human? The thunder before the lightning. That storm wasn't going to break me. It was just charging me up for something bigger. I could feel it. The world could doubt me all they wanted, but I was ready to make my own thunder. Keisha stood frozen on the stage, every eye on her, every heartbeat echoing in the silence. Then came Richard's betrayal. The mic sputtered, cutting in and out. Laughter rippled through the crowd, like a tide pulling her under. But in that moment, something inside her ignited. A quiet voice rang through the chaos. Her grandmother's words floated back. It's in the struggle that you find your voice. Kesha inhaled sharply. Just breathe. She stepped forward, feet planted firm on that wooden platform. Unamplified, unbroken. She sang. The first note was a whisper, then it grew a wave crashing against the shore. She poured every ounce of pain, every tear into her voice. Tuneless laughter faded. The air thickened with something electric, something real. Her voice soared above the doubts, cutting through the noise. It wasn't perfect, but it was her. Raw. Liberated. Each lyric pulsed with the lessons learned on cold streets late nights and the fading warmth of her grandmother's love. As she sang, something shifted. No longer just a girl with the broken guitar, but a storm, a force that could not be ignored. The audience leaned in, rapt. Somewhere in the back, Richard's smirk faltered. Keisha's heart raced, not from fear, but from a newly discovered power. She was unstoppable, fierce, the embodiment of resilience. With each note, she felt the weight of despair lift. For the first time, she didn't just want to be heard. She demanded it. Here was an unfiltered truth that begged to be acknowledged. As she reached the final refrain, her voice cracked from intensity, straining against the boundaries they had imposed. A roar erupted from the crowd. Applause rained down like a downpour, washing away the ridicule. In that moment, Keisha transformed. She became hope for the hopeless, a beacon for those unseen. And she wasn't just singing for herself anymore. She was singing for all who doubted, all who felt invisible. This was her moment. There was no going back now. Keisha stood on the stage, her heart racing as the applause washed over her like a warm wave. Tears welled in her eyes. This wasn't just validation, it was a triumph over every doubt she had ever faced. The moment was electric, an affirmation that her voice mattered. The audience, once skeptical, now stood unified in their admiration, rising in a standing ovation that seemed to echo her grandmother's spirit. As she stepped off the stage, James Mitchell emerged from the crowd, his presence commanding attention. He approached her with a determined smile, his warm hand firmly enveloping hers in a handshake that felt momentous. "Kesha, let's share your story," he said, his voice steady, both comforting and inspiring. "We need the world to know who you are." Keisha nodded, her heart rushing with gratitude. She sensed the tide had shifted. This was her moment to step into the light. With a determined calm, James revealed Kesha's true identity to the audience, connecting her to her grandmother's legacy. In that instant, Richard's ambitions unravelled. The humiliation he attempted to unleash now fell squarely on him as tabloids headlined "The True Face of Talent, a Story of Resilience." The ensuing backlash was swift, and Richard's public disgrace unfolded like a poorly written script. With a newfound authority and a vision for the future, James pledged to establish a music scholarship program in honor of her grandmother, a change in the industry that spoke volumes. Kesha couldn't help but smirk quietly as she watched the pieces of her past transform into something beautiful, something meaningful. Yet deep inside, she knew success wouldn't erase the scars of her journey. They were etched in her heart, reminders that every note sung came from struggle and strength. Her battles had shaped her. They hadn't vanished, but now they shimmered with purpose. A testament that every hardship had indeed led her to this triumphant moment. As we reach the close of Kesha's incredible journey, it becomes clear that this was never just a tale of music and performance. It was about the deeper truths that lie within us all. Kesha stood at the crossroads of despair and hope. A girl from the streets fighting against an industry reluctant to embrace her. Through her trials, she learned that power often shifts like sand beneath our feet. Those who wield it with malice can find themselves humbled in an instant, while the underestimated can rise like a phoenix from the ashes. This journey taught her, and perhaps us, that trust can be a fragile commodity, hard-earned, but easily shattered. Should we trust in the systems that dictate our worth, or in the voices we discover within ourselves? Kesha made a choice to turn her potential for revenge into a symphony of resilience. But let's ponder, this is revenge merely a twisted form of justice, or does it further chain us to our pain? Does triumph truly belong to those who rise above, or is it more often clutched by those skilled in manipulation? As we reflect on Kesha's powerful transformation and the waves it created, let us ask ourselves, what cost is too high for redemption? The answers will undoubtedly spark debate, reminding us that in the quest for validation, we must balance ambition with the humility to uplift others. Join the conversation. Share your thoughts below on whether revenge can ever be justified, or if failure was indeed the best teacher you ever had. Your stories matter. In the end, remember, true talent doesn't need permission to shine.